Hello everyone, this is Dean. Thank you for being here, and Patrick, thank you for the invitation. I'm going to be talking about the global futures trade industry at the entire world, and we're going to do it at 50,000 feet, the big view, if you will. And we're going to look at all 1,044 futures trade services. So this includes trade rooms, live rooms, trade education packages, trading platforms, strategies, methods, the whole enchilada. And what do these all have in common? They're all successful, right? None of them are a failure. So no matter what they say, no matter what they do, they all claim to be valuable, useful. We're going to drill down to what I consider global trade titans, rooms that I was fortunate enough to find early on that trade truthfully, transparently, and profitably. And I'll tell you what that means. I'll define it. And in particular, Equity Management Academy, one of the first titans I found. Here we go. My training background in futures began in 2008, and I bought two packages shown here that seemed to be unbelievably successful, but failed me as soon as I took them out of the box. I lost the purchase price because obviously I signed ironclad agreements that precluded any kind of refund. I failed, I wasn't alone. It seems that a large number of us retail traders fail, and there are 10 reasons why we fail. In fact, 10 is the most common number of reasons. There aren't 9, there aren't 8, there aren't 11, there's 10. And it was really all our fault. And I was frustrated. I was looking for a reason, that said like, well, you bought garbage, or that's worthless, or that stinks. Because, where I come from in the university system, if 91% of the students fail an exam, or the whole course for that matter, we blame the teacher, not the students. But not here. This is all our fault. So I did what scientists do. I began a review of the rooms. And when I started, back in 2009, there were only like 280 rooms, but now there's a lot, and they're still not defined. There's a lot of new ones, but it's still not regulated. So along the way, I used prospective empirical evaluation. I sat down and I took free trials, hundreds of them, by the way, year after year. And unworthy rooms taught me what to avoid. Now, recognize that since I only recommend about 1 out of 100 rooms anyway, even now, 99 out of 100 rooms were unworthy. So I got good at detecting unworthy. Worthy ones, were rare. They were hard to find, and they were worthy of, studying, and I spent more time in them. I certainly was operating as a talent scout and as an accountant, and by virtue of the shenanigans in the industry, as ethics and compliance officer, all to answer these questions, right? What is a good room? What is in fact? This is what my computer looked like each morning. And as the rooms opened up, I populated each square. At the end of a couple, 2, 3, 4 days, I got rid of the rooms I didn't like. Moved on to 4 more. At the end of a couple, 2, 3, 4 days, moved on again. And at the end of so many months, I'd seen a lot of rooms. And at the end of 4 years, I'd seen them all. I had a chance to publish a fair number of papers along the way, but the one we're going to focus on is my most recent one, Dr. Dean's Global Futures Odyssey. It was published in Futures Truth a few weeks ago. You can find this paper and all my publications at the library URL listing below. All right, so let's get started. Okay, first thing that struck me in the Odyssey was the use of animals. Now, in marketing general, animals are used often. The Clydesdale horses, the Aflac duck, the Geico gecko lizard are examples. We like to see animals. We associate well with them. And we give them human characteristics called anthropomorphism, so they're funny. So you might imagine that when you look at Cobra, Falcon, and Viper systems, that they're fast or accurate or even deadly. Fox says they trade comfortably, but I think of Fox as cunning. Rhino is tough and Gorilla is big, and Max Systems uses the watchful eye of the Bengali tiger. Well, all right for there. Panda is his last name, but he uses the panda bear. Wolf is his last name, he uses the wolf. I don't really know what Blue Crow and Lizard do, but Night Owl speaks to the time that they trade, and Rat Traders was a silly experiment to teach rats to trade futures. Now, you need to understand that the choice of these animals in general is not random. For example, we have rhino, but not hippo. And while we have a fox and wolf, we don't have the jackal. And then we have cobra and lizard, but we don't have frog and turtle. So recognize that these are animals chosen to convey attributes that you will find pleasing or reasonable for trading, but they aren't relevant. Another thing that struck me was rooms that claim to have some association with God's spirits and supernatural. For example, Alpha Wave trades with God's vision, Trading Faith trades with God's rhythm, and Trade for Jesus just trades for Jesus. We have The Wizard, Futures Wizard, and E-Mini Wizards, notwithstanding the fact that they are all wizards. This one has a secret code, the Illuminati. And up here we have the Grail Boys, they have the Grail. Voodoo Lines Indicator in First Wave and Voodoo Trading are as they indicate, except this one actually has gypsy lines as well. Be a Trading God Today skips everything and puts you right in the front seat. Magic Trader University uses magic, and the box breakout system uses a crystal ball. I just love crystal balls. And the James 16 group just comes across as an apostolic overtones, and their testimony video, says that they have been salvation from trader's hell. All right, I guess that'll work. Astrology, as opposed to astronomy, is the belief that planets in general, or celestial bodies, influence people on Earth, influence what we do, what we think, and our finances, and influence how we trade. All these sites are devoted towards understanding planets, or celestial bodies in general, and how they affect our trading in futures, and in fact, downright buys and sells. No track records, but nevertheless, all to do with planets. And if you don't believe me, you can ask the CIA, the Cosmic Intelligence Agency. They'll help you out. Don't want to trade with a planet? You can trade with a warrior. These sites all project some form of fierce, aggressive, warrior mentality. Of course, there are no weapons. Fierce trading, mercenary trading, a community of ruthless profiteers. How about that? Samurai Trading Academy, no samurai, no academy. Savage, Spartan, stealth, all right. Warrior trading room, same logic. Fierce, predatory, but not really. Don't like warriors? You can trade with Zen, the relaxed, the laid-back, patient type of trading. These rooms really don't embody Zen very much, but they do for the image of it as well. I look for this, a track record. I don't look at the logos or the icons or whatever they say. I look for a track record. I want a track record that shows me the number of contracts per trade, final profit loss, going by day, by week, by month, by year. And I want it truthful. How do I know that? I sit in a room and I watch what they do and see what they post and make sure they match up. Most rooms are truthful. The government says the past doesn't predict the future. That's just really unfair. The past is 100% predictive of the past. You mean to tell me if you're in a room that takes 1,000 trades and averages $10 a trade, and in another room that takes 1,000 trades and averages $100 a trade, you don't know the difference? You don't know what to do on the next trade? I want them to make some money. All 1,044 rooms say they're successful. How could they not? But they're not. Not all of them are. So when you ask them how much money they make or what's success or earning a second income, they don't have an answer for you. So I chose this as the answer, defined. This is the standard salary, the median salary for last year, 2015, as well as 2014, so it's not unreasonable. And 3 contracts a trade because you need 3 to get through. 2 or 1 just mathematically won't make it. And you can weight it. $50,000 a year on a 1250 index contract is the same thing as $40,000 a year on a $10 contract. And the third thing is, do they show their trades in real time? I personally think this is the most difficult, most demanding, hardest thing for a head trader to do. They can tell me what they're doing, and by typing it out in text, they can narrate it, they can show it on a price chart, or they can show it on a DOM, which rhymes with mom, not dome, which rhymes with home. The last two, price chart and DOM, allow you to see things called in real time, so you can see the entry, you can see the target, you can see the stops, you can see the trade executed in real time, and that's advantageous. I want trades that can be replicated and understood in real time, not blinking you miss a trade. So I want to be able to mirror trade or shadow trade what they do. So when you put these 3 things together, track record, 50,000 a year, and showing the trades. You go from 1044 down to 15 rooms. I call these rooms trade titans, and they trade truthfully, transparently, and profitably, and I have defined what all three of those are. There are 15 rooms to date, and we are going to focus on this one, Equity Management Academy. I spent many months in Patrick's room, watched as he traded his multiple indices. He has this tool, and it is a mathematical amalgamation of several sophisticated tools, so it on itself is above and beyond them. He and I discussed often how this worked, and I have to tell you, he has done a remarkably good job at harnessing these cooperative principles and proprietary technology. It translates to 4 signals: buy, sell, stay neutral, or wait. It's an immense accomplishment to take very complex information that he has and distill it down into this type of trading. But he does. And this is how he works in his live room. This is his track record ending in July 2015. July. He was up to $299,000. 6 months later, $461,000. July to December, $461,000. That's a tremendous improvement. He trades futures silver. I can tell you, mathematically speaking, if you look at his track record, he has earned more per silver contract in the last 2 years than any silver traders I've seen ever. He is the silver king. He also trades gold, crude oil, and Russell, securities and options, day trading, swing trading, position, live trading. What a diversified trader, and very accomplished financially. This is what his track record looks like. He has the date, the time, and the price that he got in. He has the date, time, and price that he got out, and the final profit loss. Now, one thing you need to recognize is that his track record is at 1 contract per trade. 1 contract per trade. I normalize all track records to 3. Why? Because some rooms trade 1, some trade 2, some trade 3, 5, 6, 10. If I didn't use 3 contracts per trade as a universal standard, you wouldn't be able to compare one room to another. Secondly, as I mentioned, you virtually can't make net $50,000 a year at 1 contract to trade, so you need to trade 3. That's just a kind of a practical thinking. And remember, netting $50,000 a year in your pocket is the same thing as netting $1,000 a week. Is the same thing as netting $200 a day. He does it easily. So I take his track record, his profit loss, and I triple it. 3 times more than he shows. He sends out these live signals, weekly moving averages for gold, weekly momentum indicators, weekly price indicators. On a chart like this, gold. Same thing for silver, like this as well. Very understandable, easy to apply, straightforward and logical. So to summarize, for my 3 criteria, does he show a track record? Absolutely. Does he make more than $50,000? Way more than that. Does he show his trades in real time? Absolutely. That was enough for me to recommend him in 2013 as a global trade titan, and in 14, and in 15, and this year as well. Bravo. You might not think this is a big deal, but it was. I came across a lot of rooms that were run by autocratic dictators, militant people, drill sergeants, hostile, argumentative, demanding. Patrick was the first room I came across that was patient and courteous. Absolutely. Multiple indices. And not only indices, futures, but ETFs, stocks, and options. He has track records for all these. Now, this is an accomplishment to step outside of futures and use the same indicators to trade other types of indices and options. Does he teach you as well as trade? Yes, he does. He will educate you. Does he have trials? Yes. And is he very accomplished? Yes, he is. 94% success rate. I thank you. I appreciate you being here. I always want you to know these are my observations, my opinions, and my best understandings. If yours are different, and they can be, then that's a fact. I find Equity Management Academy one of the most accomplished, one of the most diverse, and certainly very, very profitable in what he does. My recent papers, I mentioned, the Midas Touch. This paper about the truth in futures trading rooms was published in Trader Planet. You might want to look at that. It has something reasonable. And the 1K a day mathematical modeling to harness pullbacks, I think is worth your attention as well. Battered Trader Syndrome, I went through it. And the Odyssey, which we just spent some time on. You can find all these papers at my library. I'm moving, but if I do, by the time you get there, there'll be a directed site for the new URL. And thank you very much for joining me today.